Hi everyone, it's Lynn. Welcome back to Quilt Lit 101. So we're going to do our next block, and this is block 6. We're halfway through 6, and it's the Huckleberry Finn block. So I'm going to turn on my overhead so you can see what you're going to need to cut out, and we're just going to show you how to do it. So this is the block that we're going to be doing, and I just want to break it down a little because we've done all this, but it really has an interesting look to it when you break it down. So, you know, we've been doing this cross, which we're still doing, and what we're going to do is we've changed it up. Instead of all half square triangles, we're going to do little checkerboard, little 4-patch checkerboards in the corner, and then the half square triangles are going to point to each other, which kind of gives you now this X plus the cross. So I think it's kind of a neat X and plus sign together. And we are changing our cross row to where it's going to line up with one of the checkerboards, which is going to give you another like little internal interest in the quilt block, which I think is fascinating. So here's what you're going to need to cut out. You're going to need to cut out one. And the pattern says the width of fabric, and it's going to be that. So the 4 colors you're going to use is fabric 1, fabric 4, fabric 9, and fabric 10. And fabric 1 is this ice frappe, and these are all Kona colors. So if you have missed some of the other blocks, go back and watch those. But you can also get the fabric that I made the quilt out of. So these are readily available colors. Or use what you have, and it'll be fine. So so ice frappe, you're going to cut a 1.5 inch strip. The pattern says the width of fabric, so you're going to cut out 1.5 strip of ice frappe, and then you're going to cut 4 3-inch squares. Okay, so you're going to cut 4 3-inch squares and a strip of the ice frappe. Then you're going to cut you're going to cut a 1.5. You're going to switch over to the clover color, which is this darker green color. And you're going to cut 4 of 2.5 by 1.5. And then you're going to cut 4 2.5-inch squares. Okay. Then the next color is the cactus, which is this really limey green color. I think it really stands out. Kind of like how these all kind of work together. And this one you're going to cut a 3-inch square, 4 3-inch squares, and another 1.5 by 2.5, and you'll cut 4 of those. And you'll see how these all work together. And then the last one is you're going to cut a 1.5-inch strip with the fabric of, this is sour apple. And I kind of like the names of these: sour apple, cactus, clover, I don't know. And so you're going to have 1.5-inch strip of width of fabric, which, okay, if you're a beginner quilter, width of fabric means selvage to selvage. So when you go to buy fabric and they cut it for you, the ends that they don't cut, that they roll off the bolt, those are the selvage ends. And you can tell those by their, solids don't have it. But a lot of time when you're looking at prints, they'll have well, it's left me what it's called, but they'll have the selvage, and it'll have like the name of the fabric, the person who designed it, and then it'll have like a color code of like different colors that were used in the print. So that's what that is. And then this, I think you just need 1 2.5-inch square. So, okay, so you're going to cut all those out. That's easy. And then you're going to sew, I should have had these separate, but then you're going to sew the width of the fabric, the ice frappe, to the sour apple. And you're going to sew it all the way down, and then you're going to press it, and I press to the dark. If you press open, it's your quilt. That's what I've decided. But I press the dark. And here's the reason I press the dark, is then you're going to cut out all these little, and you'll need 16 of them, but you need to cut out these little 1.5 by 2.5-inch strips of your 2 colors. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take those and you're going to put them together. And I really want you to see how they lock in together. And you're going to and this is if you are a press to the dark, this will work. If you press it open, you have to use pins for it to match up correctly. But I usually press the dark and then I don't have to use pins. Then when you sew it, here's a pro tip. When you sew it, you want the flap on top, that flap on top that's pressed down, to be going towards the needle. If it's going towards the needle, then it will kind of mush that to where it's bumped, but it will not go past it. So you're going to sew, once you get 16 of these, you're going to take in pairs, and you're going to make 8 of these cute little 4 patches. So you need 8 4 patches. So you're going to sew those, press them, set them aside. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the 4 ice frappe 3-inch and the 4 cactus 3-inch, and you're going to put them together. And we've done this a bunch of times, but you're going to make a half square triangle. So you're going to draw a line. You're going to draw a line corner to corner with a ruler that I didn't put in here. But you're going to draw a line corner to corner, and then from that center line, you're going to sew on each side of it a quarter inch away. And you can draw 3 lines. Draw 3 lines. Draw the center line and then measure a quarter of an inch on that, draw another line, and then a quarter of an inch on the other side of it, draw another line. Okay, and you're going to sew those together, and then the center line is your cutting line, and you're going to cut it apart down the center line. See, the center line was my cutting line, and then I'm going to cut it apart. That's where I cut it apart. And then you're going to, I press to the dark. If you press open, press open. I press to the dark, and then you're going to trim these up, and these will be trimmed up to 2.5 inches. These should be trimmed up to 2.5 inches, right? Okay, then you're going to take the 2.5 by 1.5, 4 of these of the clover and 4 of these of the cactus, and you're going to sew those together. Then you're going to take that 2.5 inch block and you're going to sew it to the other side of the cactus, right? So you're going to make 4 of these. Then here's what I do, and I always have my pattern kind of next to me because things turn really easily. So you want to make sure, I want to make sure that all the clover, or sour apple, I guess, all of the sour apple is going to be diagonal, right? So you can see those little green are going to be diagonal. I'm looking at this ice frappe as background, right? That's my background color. So those are going to be diagonal, and I want my cactus half square triangles, I want them pointing in. So they're going to point toward each other. So then I'm going to sew a cactus half square triangle to one of these sour apples 4 patches. I'm going to sew all of those, so I'll sew 8 of those, and I will create this little unit. So I'm going to sew this to this, this to this, and then I'm going to sew these to that. So that would give me this, right? Because I've already made 4 of these. Okay. Then I'm going to take that sour apple centerpiece, and I'm going to sew 2 of these cross pieces, units to each side of that. Okay, then I'm going to sew this to this, this to this, which is going to look like this, right? So you can see how it breaks down into each other. And then I will sew the 3 rows together. I would sew this to this and this to this, right? And then you're going to have your Huckleberry Finn block. And it's a really fun block, and it has a lot going for it because you've got this really cool kind of, this is green, but because I've used it with some other really strong greens, it looks yellow. But it looks green in other places. So I think it's really one of those great chameleon colors, and that's why I love it so much, and it's the cactus color from Kona. So anyway, so I'm going to show this to this to this, and you have your Huckleberry Finn block. So join us and let us know. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The link below is you can get the pattern. You can get behind the scenes kind of stuff, and I do more stuff. I show you other ways to do this. Buy the pattern. It'd be great. It helps me keep stuff going and doing all that. But if not, you don't. So there it is. It's okay. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will join you in 2 weeks and do the next block. But you're halfway done. So join us soon. Bye.